ABC7's Good Morning El Paso weekend. ABC7 following the latest the slaying of a Hatch police officer. There is his body escorted to Albuquerque. We're learning more about how the officer was killed and who was charged with pulling the trigger. And county leaders raising some ire after voting to raise pay, including their own, but it comes as they're considering millions more across departments. And storm track weather, Stephen.
Rain chances haven't gone away just yet, and the winds will be picking up. I'll explain coming up.
This is all the news you need to start your Sunday, August 14th. ABC7's Good Morning El Paso weekend starts right now.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC7's Good Morning El Paso weekend.
The bridge to nowhere will soon be no more. Today will be another frustrating day for drivers on the west side as TxDOT crews work to remove what remains of the Buena Vista Bridge. In order to do that, they have closed Interstate 10 in both directions near Sunland Park. Our round-the-clock news crew got video just after crews shut down the freeway this morning. Well, good morning, El Paso, and thank you for joining us. I'm Andrew J. Polk. We have a look at your drive times and what you can expect for your morning commute coming up in just a few minutes. But first, a community is coming together to honor a fallen Hatch police officer who was shot after a traffic stop gone horribly wrong. The officer has been identified as 33-year-old Jose Chavez. Chavez was a 2-year veteran of the Hatch Police Department. These are photos from the Doña County Sheriff's Office. Chavez graduated from the Law Enforcement Academy there in 2013. He was a deputy for 6 months before taking a job as a Hatch police officer, where he served for 2 years. Chavez was shot in the neck and flown to University Medical Center El Paso, where he died following surgery this weekend. He leaves behind a wife and 2 children. The GoFundMe account created shows Officer Chavez had a 5-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old daughter. The account has generated thousands of dollars raised in just under 24 hours. And our crews were there as the body of Officer Chavez was escorted from UMC yesterday morning as it's made its way to Albuquerque. ABC7's New Mexico mobile newsroom captured the escort making its way through Las Cruces with lights and sirens on. We were told the Office of the Medical Investigator will conduct an autopsy today. And the men arrested in connection with Officer Chavez's death are 36-year-old James Nelson and 38-year-old Jesse Haynes. Haynes, whose last known address was in Columbus, Ohio, currently faces 1 count of willful and deliberate first-degree murder in Ohio for the death of a 62-year-old man. Nelson's being held on a fugitive warrant in connection with the shooting death of that 62-year-old man. But here in the borderland, it all started here on Franklin Avenue in Hatch. Officials tell ABC7 Officer Chavez was conducting a traffic stop near an RV park when he was shot. Police taped off a large area near the park as investigators were on the scene for hours. Officials say the suspect then fled the scene on I-25, driving at 100 miles an hour. Yesterday, the Doña County Sheriff's Office held a news conference releasing new information on the 2 men in custody. Officials say Haynes was the man who allegedly pulled the trigger. They also say that James E. Nelson was in the passenger seat during the shooting, and a 3rd man who was in the vehicle is not a suspect at this time.
It appears that that male was a hitchhiker who had caught a ride from these 2. He's being considered a witness at this time and has not been charged.
Officials with Doña County Sheriff's Office are still the lead investigators at this time. They are being assisted by the FBI, and the Doña County Sheriff's Office will also be taking over all service calls for the Hatch Police Department for the next 48 hours. All of this then ended after the shooting yesterday when they came to stop at a rest area near Radium Springs. Authorities say this is where Haynes carjacked a 36-year-old man, shooting him in the torso after the victim refused to get in the car with him. The victim shot has not been identified, but it is listed in stable condition at an El Paso hospital. Haynes fled and drove to a home on Highway I-85 where sheriff's deputies were able to stop him by using tire spikes. The suspect then crashed into a pile of wood and barricaded himself inside before surrendering. Haynes suffered from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the leg during the process. And members of the Doña County Sheriff's Office are coming together to help lift the financial burden for families of fallen officers. Yesterday's deputies washed cars to help raise money. The proceeds raised at Jack Key Motors will go to the families of the officers killed in Dallas, Louisiana, and to the family of Officer Chavez. Saturday's car wash was just one of several fundraisers. We caught up with one deputy who spent his morning helping the cause.
We send our deepest respects, love, and condolences to the family. We're here for you as a community, as law enforcement, as family.
The Sheriff's Office is also teaming up with NMSU for a charity football game. There'll also be a comedy show to raise money for the families of the fallen officers. So switching to our Storm Track weather now, we've definitely had some wet weather around the borderland. Let's get your first forecast with Storm Track meteorologist Stephen Decatur. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Andrew. We're tracking some more wet weather this morning for some areas, although it's not coming down very hard. You can see on the radar, though, for areas off towards the east of El Paso, that rain is coming down this morning back towards Sierra Blanca, Del City, Guadalupe Pass as well. We'll zoom in for a little bit of a closer look, and you can see, again, that rain shower, light to moderate. The moderate are those darker green colors just north of Sierra Blanca. Again, not a very populated area. And once you pass Fort Hancock, though, on I-10, you will be hitting those showers until you reach about the Van Horn area. And again, up on 180 as well near Del City and Guadalupe Pass, dealing with some light rain showers this morning. So if you are planning on going to the national park, you may have to deal with that today. Bring a rain jacket with you. We're going to continue to watch the radar today because storms are possible to pop up once again this afternoon, although it won't be nearly as widespread as what we saw yesterday. Plus temperatures very comfortable starting off, and it's going to be another very comfortable afternoon with below average temperatures through the next 7 days. Andrew?
All right, thanks, Stephen. I'm taking a live look at that traffic situation there right now. This is where the problems are and what's going to be going on for the rest of your day till 5 a.m. Monday. I-10 closed from Executive Center Boulevard to Sunland Park Drive, both directions. You can see here we've already got some slowdowns happening. Some yellow sections along Mesa where traffic is bunching up, and Executive Center getting off I-10, serious backups there. So we're going to have to be dealing with this for a lot of the parts of today. We'll keep an eye on this throughout the rest of your newscast, and of course have updates on KVIA.com. We have new video just into our newsroom of that bridge to nowhere coming down. Our crews were there at the crack of dawn as TxDOT crews closed off the freeway, and now the bridge is being demolished. You can see construction crews taking up the bridge apart piece by piece. The freeway is expected to open back up by again tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. We're told if the entire bridge and as well as along with the other part of the Paisano Bridge are able to be brought down today, that will put the Go 10 project back on track. The standoff between police and protesters turned violent after a fatal shooting of an armed suspect Saturday night. This was the scene in the north side of Milwaukee. A police officer is in the hospital recovering after protesters hit him with a brick. And the angry crowd set at least 4 buildings, including a gas station, on fire. Authorities say the incident happened after police shot and killed an armed suspect during a foot chase. Officials did not say why the suspect was confronted.
Our officers are out here taking risks on behalf of the community and making split-second decisions. In this case, our officers attempted to stop 2 young men. One was armed with a handgun. That officer had to make a split-second decision when the person confronted him with their handgun. This is a risk that they take every day on behalf of our community.
Police say they've made 3 arrests. The shooting will be investigated by the state. Officials say the officer who shot the armed man was wearing a body camera. Back around at Borderland this past week, El Paso County Commissioners focused on approving the budget for the next fiscal year. One of the items approved caused a bit of an uproar. Commissioners approved raises for themselves, but say it will not increase taxes. But the pay increase is small in comparison to the increases for departments like Public Works.
We submitted approximately a $34 million budget request. That includes a total of 14 new positions, 3 are regrades, and the 11 are new positions.
The Public Works Department is looking at tackling more than ever before and is asking for nearly $1 million more, mostly in new and upgraded employee positions to make it all happen.
In my opinion, yes, they're essential to do better at what we're doing and to cover areas that we're currently not doing.
County commissioners have put an increasing focus and services for the urbanized parts of the county growing outside of any city's limits. The department has grown from a budget of just under $21 million for the 2015 fiscal year to the proposed $34 million for the 2017 budget to tackle it all.
It's everything from maintenance to plan review and inspection to graffiti, cleanup, eradication, to better planning for transportation programs and for rural planning initiatives.
Some of the department's budget requests have been approved by commissioners so far, while others haven't been addressed yet or require further review. Commissioners will have to approve the more than $300 million full budget before the start of the fiscal year in October. They previously said they don't want to raise taxes and say they may be able to based on other revenues increasing this year. So how much should elected officials make? And what's a fair compensation for those working for you? That is what we'll be discussing tonight on ABC 7 Extra. Our guests will be Commissioner David Stout, County Judge Veronica Escobar, and Attorney James Montoya, who reviews City Council salaries. Catch that right after our 10 o'clock newscast at 10:35, only on ABC 7. And the secrets of the Camino Real. The El Paso Wink is learning some of the most interesting details that have been mostly forgotten by the public. Since the Myers Group is buying the hotel, executives are touring the building and discovering the original architecture from when it was built back in 1912. According to our news partners at the El Paso Wink, some discoveries include a small room behind a wall next to the Dome Bar. They believe it used to be a cigar room, and a staircase that leads to a forgotten basement. El Paso Wink also saw a list of notable people who have stayed at the hotel, like actor John Wayne. For more on the hidden secrets of the Camino Real, pick up your copy of the El Paso Wink. Other stories this week include why local officials are rushing to save the new visitor center for the Franklin Mountain State Park, the one they thought was all set and ready to build. Also, El Paso Inc. is adding to its list of private sector investments in downtown, bringing it now to more than 20 major projects. El Paso Inc. is online at KVIA.com and available for home and business delivery. Call that number there at the bottom of your screen, 534-4422 to subscribe. Well, we have seen some rain around the borderland this weekend. On the other side of Texas, there's major flooding. The response going on in Louisiana right now. And later, reports of gunfire that sent shoppers running for their lives with injuries caused in the fray. Time right now, 8:11. We're taking a live look at our traffic system again. I-10 closed from Executive Center to Sunland Park, and we're already seeing those slowdowns along parts of Mesa, Sunland Park Drive, and Executive. That is the detours you'll have to take if you're going pretty much anywhere on the west side today. And the storm track weather, Stephen.
Rain chances remain in the forecast for today, but they won't be lasting very long. I'll explain coming up.
Watching ABC 7, where news comes first.